Liquor Talk. Another episode starts now. Welcome everybody to another edition of the Liquor Talk Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the road for season 9. This is the season 9 finale. I opened this season with people I was going to collaborate with at Afros and Audio, and I'm closing the season with someone I collaborate with at Afros and Audios. And also, we got a returning guest joining me from Indiana. She is Leo Rochelle, the host of the Phat Girl Chronicles Podcast, and she has her own media group now. So it's been too long. I'm sorry for the wait, but how have you been doing?
Good. I've been good. Working hard and trying to play even harder.
Oh, I feel that. I feel that. For the people who didn't listen to the last time I had you on, tell people a little about what you do.
So I am Leo Rochelle, the founder and creator of the Phat Girl Chronicles Podcast, PGC Media and PGC After Dark. Um, PGC Media came about a couple years ago, but the Phat Girl Chronicles has been live and in motion for about it'll be 6 years this year in September. It started on radio and then transitioned to podcasting. Uh, so it's been going longer than 6 years, but the revamp of the podcast has been going for 6 years strong. And it started just because I wanted some place to have a conversation, a place to talk, a place to get things off of my chest. It did not start as the Phat Girl Chronicles, though. It started as a chocolate chat with Miss T. And it transitioned from there over time. And here we are. 6 years later with the podcast, 7 years later with the brand itself, because I started the brand and doing radio and things before the podcast came about. So been doing it for quite some time. I've been in media overall for about 15 years now though. So it's been a hell of a journey and I'm glad to be here.
Yes, it's definitely been a hell of a journey. I remember I had you on like during the beginning stages. I think we were all during the beginning stages. I definitely am glad to see that you've kept it going because I don't know
Yeah.
if you can relate to this, but I've had people on this podcast. I go to their page today and they're not even recording. They're not doing nothing. The page has been taken down. They are moving on to another facet of life. They're not even, involved in media.
Yeah, they're not. I've connected with people who stopped doing podcasting just because they weren't getting the results that they wanted fast enough. So that's why some of the people that were doing it aren't doing it anymore. But it's good to see that people can do podcasting and then switch and find another passion. It's been hard for me to decide or to shift from this to something else. Because every time I shifted doing something else, it brings me back to the media side of things. So I'll be here for a while.
Yeah, I said the same thing about liquor talk. You know what? I just turned out I enjoy having some liquor and I enjoy having conversations with people from all around the world. I'm diving more. I'm trying to get more into the local scene, but I love having my conversations with people like yourself in different places around the world. And one thing I didn't realize is you never know who's tapped in with you and who's just waiting for the opportunity to shine. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
because go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say because everybody has a story to tell, and then there's also different layers to the story. Like mine, I was here in the beginning stages, and over time, it's shifted, it's changed, it's grown, and it's become something else. And so here we are 6 years later.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different kind of thing going on. It's a whole different kind of situation taking place. So yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's been like 8 years for me, but so it's like, if I had told myself that after I had not one but two co-hosts walk out on me, I'd still be here, I would have laughed at you. But you still here because you know what, you like the determination, and at the end of the day, passion is what carries you through. Because that's why I tell anybody, like, if you're not doing something you're not passionate about, well, then you're not going to, last long.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I get it.
Yes, I definitely get that. I definitely get that. So what? Talking about this transition to a media company, how did that come about?
It came about year two, and it came about because I just didn't want to only do podcasting. I've done, like I said, I've done radio before. I've done TV before as well, and I also help with um I also do book coaching. So in the midst of doing all of those things, all of those are different areas or facets of media. And I thought to myself, well, why not expand what I currently do into other areas or other things that I truly, truly enjoy? And the other things that I enjoy are TV, and books. And so there are other divisions developing on the back end of the Phat Girl Chronicles and PGC Media, but it's just been one of those things that I'm like, well, just because I don't fully do them on the forefront of things, I can still help on the background. So I still do script writing. I still do um, production of those kind of things, audio dramas, all of those kind of things. So yeah, I
Wow.
decided that it was better to, and if we're going to do more shows, I just didn't want it to be the Phat Girl Chronicles. We needed an umbrella for all of these shows to fall up under. And so that's how I decided on PGC Media, because it's still the Phat Girl Chronicles, but now the Phat Girl Chronicles has grown and expanded. And so um, that's where the PGC comes from. That's
Mm,
it. Phat
that's
Girl Chronicles, PGC Media.
That's wonderful. That's nice to hear. Um, Speaking of, I was checking out your conversation with Talib Jasir. Shout out to him. Big ups to him for Afros and Audios. I enjoyed that platform. Sad that we're not gonna have the pilgrimage to Baltimore later this year, but it is what it is. You know, I know he had to transition and he's at peace with it, so I'm good with it. You know, I just gonna hope for some more stages with us black people all together. But you know, it is what it is. So talk to me about building a community and how you've used your media company to start to build a community.
Well, actually, I started building community way before the media company and way before PGC. I started building a community because I am a person that is for the community. I'm a person that enjoys connecting and building and growing. And my background is in early childhood education, but I also have a minor in sociology, and those kind of things help me to recognize the importance of community early on. Building a community is not just about um gathering people for your cause, but gathering people for your cause in order for your cause to grow and be an effective, efficient part of their lives, so that your cause can then pour into what they have going on, what they have happening. So one of our things that we really truly focus on a lot each year, with PGC Media, is we talk a lot about mental health and mental health awareness because it's important. Mental health awareness is one of the things that we absolutely, um, I am gung ho about focusing and talking about mental health every year. I don't care what other conversations we have throughout the year, but May, we hone in on different aspects of mental health awareness. Why? Because those are the conversations we need to have. We need to talk about mental health awareness. We need to talk about what's happening in our communities and in our homes, and what's happening when people are having these um when the police and all of those kind of things are taking advantage or actually harming people because of their mental health issues and things like that. So, but we also talk about it in another aspect as well. We talk about how mental health affects um, your sexual health and wellness as well. because that's a thing too. A lot of people don't want to talk about how your mental health affects how you show up in the bedroom, how you show up in relationships. And so with all of those varying aspects, we definitely tap into that because our community, Black and brown people, really haven't had the opportunity to talk about mental health or how we can help each other navigate through those little nuances of what mental health looks like, because it's a lot. Mental health is a really broad, topic, but there are so many different layers to it, and so we try to tackle them in a lot of different ways. But that's how one of the ways that we tap into our community and truly try to give back, truly try to assist. But we also do other things like feeding the homeless, and we've tried to do initiatives where we're collecting hats and scarves and all of those kind of things. And we also do a toiletry drive. People do a lot of clothing drives and all of those kind of things for their communities, but one of the things that we overlook and that we always forget is that people need toiletries. Soap, shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste, all of those kind of things. It's a necessary thing for us to have clean, functioning bodies. So that's one of the things we do to give back to the community as well, because we see the need, and that's part of what you do when you are building a community, is that you fulfill those needs of the community. So that's what we do.
That's amazing work you're doing. That is
Yeah.
wonderful work. I definitely agree with you on mental health. We need to be talking about mental health. I try to talk about it with the fellas every month because men's mental health always gets overlooked. So that's why whenever
Absolutely.
we do our men's rounds every month, we always try to tackle some aspect of mental health. Sometimes you get tired of talking about, but it needs to be, the conversation needs to be drilled around, because you said it. Black folks, we just didn't talk about that growing up, you know.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that it's come to a forefront and things are being held accountable. And if some people in our past generations are just saying their ways, just gotta. I've learned that you just gotta let those people be in order to build your community and also to build yourself up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you can't let one sector of the community affect the overall community. So that's why you
That's a fact.
absolutely have to keep moving and grooving. Yep.
Always keep moving and grooving.
Uh-huh.
So what's some things you look forward to for 2026 for the media company?
Well, we do have some new shows coming out, so I'm looking forward to tapping into those different aspects of shows. We have one that's actually premieres this Friday. It's called The Curvy Couch. And the Curvy Couch is more of a community based show. It's not just us getting on camera and talking, but it is a multi-space show. So we'll have the conversations actually within my home, and we'll also be streaming live online, so that we'll have the dual conversations popping off. So I'm looking forward to it. I've had the opportunity to do a show like this years ago, where where we had an in studio audience, we had a DJ, we had all of those kind of things. And so this time around, I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see how it pans out and all of those kind of things. And I'm looking forward to the community coming and actually having my home as a space for people to gather this time around. So I'm
Uh,
excited.
that's wonderful that you open up your own homes for people to come and gather. Because I know some people, they are not open up their house for anything. So that tells me right there that you got a bigger vision in mind if you're opening up your own home to people like that.
Well, sometimes, we have to go beyond what we see other people doing. Other people, yeah, they have studios and all of those kind of things. I don't have a studio. I have my home. And I actually have an open door policy that anybody can come by my home at any time. Because I've created and curated the space of my home to be a safe space, not just for myself, but for those in the community that need a safe space to escape the world that they currently live in. So, um, because everybody's home isn't their safe space, so I have created the energy in this space, the decorations, and all of those kind of things to actively be a space where people can come, feel at home, feel safe, they can unwind, they can take a load off. Because again, mental health is important, and a lot of people aren't able to go home and have that space where they can take a load off. So my home is absolutely that space for people. And um it gives me an opportunity to host a party or something, because I haven't done that in a while either. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I feel you. I haven't done that in years. I haven't hosted
Yeah, it's
events
been a
since like
while, so I'm looking forward to it.
I think the last time I was telling I was literally in college. So yeah, I did say later this year I'm gonna start back hosting events. So I definitely feel you on hosting events and open up your home. That's wonderful. But why is it that some people can have a home and it not be their safe space? Because I'm like, if you're paying rent and you're paying utilities, how in the hell is home not your safe space?
Because a home isn't built because you pay bills there. A
Mm.
home is actively built by the people who live in that home, who live within that space. And um a lot of people have un they have unhealthy relationships taking place in that home.
Hmm.
Having somebody that you're in an unhealthy relationship with in your home, or in you both share that space. You have those unhealthy relationships happening, and it does cause chaos, and it does cause a lot of drama, a lot of unrest, a lot of arguments, and all of those kind of things take place when you're in an unhealthy relationship. Also, being in an unhealthy relationship causes a lot of physical effects, not just domestic violence, but being in an unhealthy relationship causes unrest in your nervous system. It causes unrest in your mental space, emotionally, sometimes financially. So going into that house does not mean it's a home. Going into that house may mean you just have a roof over your head. Going into that house does not mean it is a home. It does not mean that you are safe there. It does not mean you feel safe. And then the other side of things is that building a home means that within that space, you feel safe, you feel seen, you feel heard, you feel cared for, you feel um, safe enough to sleep, you feel safe enough to speak your mind. So there are a lot of aspects of creating a home. Just because you pay bills there, or just because you bought things or you buy things and bring it in there, that does not make it a home. Making a home means creating safety, creating a space filled with love, creating a space filled with care and concern, and all of those kind of things. And so, a home is a totally different aspect than just having somewhere to lay your head, or having somewhere to say that's where I live.
That's all facts. That's definitely all facts. Now, going back to the part of unhealthy relationships, is like the sad thing is people can see in your home that you're in a unhealthy relationships, but people be in denial. Like it's like why the hell do people be in such denial for being in an unhealthy relationship?
And this is just my opinion. A lot of people are in unhealthy relationships and choose to stay in them, because there's a loneliness epidemic in the world. A lot of people are lonely. A lot of people would rather say that they have somebody than to actually have someone that cares or has concern for their overall well-being. It's not that, it's the fact that they can say that they have someone to call their own, and 9 times out of 10, sometimes that person isn't even the person that you can call your own. Sometimes that's just the person that um is there. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there again, there's a loneliness epidemic in the world, and a lot of people just think you get over being lonely by having someone within your home. That's not how that works.
Mm-mm.
Um, or just saying that you're in relationship with someone, and that's not how it works either. So it's really one of those things that a lot of people um, are choosing to be in unhealthy relationships. But I also believe that a lot of people don't have good examples of what a healthy relationship looks like either. So a lot of times the space that we think that oh, this is the best relationship I've ever been in. But if you've gone from one extreme of being in the worst relationship of your life, and then now you have somebody who just shows up, now you're like, oh my God, that's the best relationship I've ever been in my life. Well, he still doesn't, there's a lot of different aspects that he or she still aren't showing up in for you, but they're always home. That's and they're like, oh my God, that's the best relationship I've ever been in because this person is always at home. They're always here when I get here. And sometimes, the definition of what a healthy relationship is has not been on display for a lot of us in actuality. So that's another part of it too.
Yeah, that's a sad case, Um, another thing I will say about the loneliness epidemic, I feel like people are not in love with themselves because if you love yourself, you wouldn't give a damn about being lonely. I mean, we all have our lonely moments. So don't get me wrong, being single, yeah, we all have our lonely moments. But I'm not about to just go ahead and start playing house with just anybody. And also, I'm gonna take time to chill, and I feel like that's what a lot of people don't do is they don't take time for themselves to figure out what they like and what they need from a potential partner, and instead they just happily hop back into a relationship and get happy with what this next person is doing because the last ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend isn't necessarily doing those things. But I say give it about 30 to 90 days, and I guarantee you that person will find something to get fed up with this person about. That's how that usually goes.
Yeah, it's a couple of things. So, um the loneliness epidemic is simply because it's not always about people not being in love with themselves or having self-love. It's quite actually the opposite. There are so many people that have self-love and self-worth that they would rather be alone than to deal with people who don't see their value, who don't see their worth, who don't show up for them, who don't give care to them, and all of those kind of things. And so we see a lot of people not actually creating connections or creating community. It's a lot of people not creating community. It's a lot of people who live in areas that they actually don't even know people. Um, but there are also spaces of loneliness that take place because you've been to yourself or haven't been in relationship or in connection with people for so long. So there is the misconception that just because you're single that you out here having a time and that you're enjoying life to the fullest. Well, no. There's still companionship, there's still intimacy, there's still connection, there is still the human aspect of touch as well. So a lot of people are touch deprived because we aren't a society that touches anymore in regards to hugs or any type of intimacy or connection in that regard. So it does create the space of loneliness. And then there's also singleness, which is a different thing than loneliness. Singleness is that there are a lot of people just choosing to be single. Loneliness is a totally different layer, and it does not only involve single people. Loneliness involves married people too, because just because you're married doesn't mean that you're not lonely. Just because you're married, it does not mean that you don't have somebody that's not showing up for you, that's not touching you, that's not being present for you. Being married is simply that you got a ring on your finger and you got a marriage certificate. That does not mean anything else under the sun other than that.
That's a fact.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a lot of different layers to that whole loneliness epidemic and things like that. And I'll pull up some information while we're talking about the loneliness epidemic because um, I think as a community and as a society, we really just don't find those spaces to create intimacy or connection. And here it is. It says the loneliness epidemic refers to the widespread serious public health crisis of social isolation and loneliness. Um, and it was declared in 2023. So 3 years ago, um, half of American adults um, posing risks comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day, affecting
Damn,
mental health. Yeah,
that's
affecting
crazy.
mental health, physical health. So, mental health, depression and anxiety, physical health, heart disease, dementia, premature death, and driven by factors by technology, individualism, economic inequality, and exasperated by the pandemic. It highlights the societal breakdown in meaningful connection, particularly affecting younger generations and minority groups. One of the things that we forget about is that when our parents or when we were growing up, a lot of our parents, we would go to grandma's house, we would have things at home, we would have a lot of people over and all of those kind of things. So it did not create that space. And we see that it was increased after the pandemic. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people got comfortable being at home by themselves, nobody around, nobody. And me, I was that person. I was at home by myself all the time, enjoying the silence of the world. But I absolutely hated the isolation. I live alone now, and I hate the isolation. Anytime somebody ready to come over, yes, come on over, because I love people coming over. And sometimes it's just a matter of when you're single or you live by yourself, you realize that you can go days without talking to anybody and be okay, and that's not okay. So
Yeah,
just
that's a scary
learning.
fact.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird space because you're like, oh my God, why am I so comfortable in this? But we live in a society that is so not comfortable with connection, that's not comfortable with intimacy, that's not comfortable with emotions. This society is so like F those feelings and all of that kind of stuff. So no. That's why we
Yeah.
acting lonely and having and having all of these other attributes affect our health all the way around.
Yeah, I totally get all that, because hey, it's been a while for me too. But it's like, even though I live with people, I still get lonely. But at the same times, I don't let loneliness defeat me. That's the thing. That's people just can't let being lonely stop them from doing whatever it is they're doing. Because I think that's why our generation can be like, touch deprived or deprived of intimacy because we just built on a society of, I guess we're just out here trying to survive and go get it.
I can see that. But also when it comes to being like touch deprived and things like that, that comes from people not getting hugs on a regular basis. A person needs, I believe, is 8 hugs a day to survive.
Damn, 8 hugs
Mental
a
hugs,
day?
8 hugs a day, 8 hugs
Yeah, I
a
can't think
day.
of a time I got 8 hugs in one day. I can't think of a time.
Exactly. And so that in turn means that we've always been a society that has not been of connection, of intimacy. Now, 8 hugs a day to survive, I think is 5 hugs a day. So the lower the amount of hugs a day, the lower the intimacy rating and all of those kind of things that people are able to um let me look it up. Because we've talked about this on the Phat Girl Chronicles. We talked about being touch deprived. Um, 4 hugs, 4 hugs a day for survival. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's survival at the bare minimum. 8 for maintenance, and then it says 12 for daily growth. Now, the numbers that we had a while ago were totally different because I don't ever remember 12 being on on this list. I remember it being 8, 5, and 3, if my memory serves me correctly. But, or 8, 5, and 4, somewhere in there. But I know that 8 was the top number. But this, even saying 12 now, is insane. 12 for
12
growth,
hugs.
12 for growth and deeper connection. So that means a lot of us aren't growing and don't have deep connection.
Let them tell it, hey, you're not getting that growth, but hey,
It's
because
insane.
I'm like, where the hell are you gonna go get 12 hugs from? Shit, because the only time I think of getting hugs like that is if I'm at a place where I know people, where I'm all around and we know people. But a lot of times we go into places and I don't know one person in this motherfucker.
I used to get hugs all the time. I used to be a preschool teacher. So being a preschool teacher, I used to get hugs all the time. And I think that was in my earlier 20s when I worked with the littles and I was there 6, 7 years. So I was getting lots of hugs over that time frame. And I can actively say a lot of people don't have the space to work with children, but if you have the opportunity to be in a space of children and you really understand that being around children and little people they are the most giving, caring. They don't give a damn what your life looks like. If you're nice to them, they gonna hug you. They gonna revere you. They're
Yup.
gonna be all the things that that a lot of us are looking for in the world. Go around some little people. Go hang around some children. Go to the hospitals where they need children or babies that need hugs on a regular basis, because that's why they do that. The babies in the NICU need touch on a regular basis in order for them to grow, in order for them to survive, in order for them to make it out of the NICU. So there's so many things that we as people on a regular basis don't have, aren't connecting, aren't any of that. So yeah. And
That's
that's my favorite thing to geek out on, is all of those kind of little informative things when it comes to aspects of mental health and also aspects of what we need as a whole, because that helps us build out the communications that we have, the type of shows that we produce and things like that as well too.
That's wonderful. That's all wonderful work. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Liquor Talk. The more you drink, the better we sound. This is the season finale, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all have been enjoying this talk so far. I hope y'all go out there and get y'all 12 hugs or however the hell.
Oh,
Y'all get a hug from me too, damn it.
period.
Y'all
Okay.
get a hug from me too, damn it. Because I just be going to work, going home, recording the podcast, and go home. So it's like, a lot of us will not get out like that to get the intimacy we need,
Yeah.
because it's like sometimes we'll go to the networking events, and then occasionally we'll go to the singles events, and it just sounds like everybody's just be clicked off and no one's open to meeting people too. So,
Mhm. Yep, that's the thing too.
but it's a crazy world we're living in. And for my single people out there, y'all might want to hang in there, because I know Valentine's Day is this month, and you're gonna have all the people posting and stuff. And if you get posted on the day after Valentine's Day, well, you know where you stand.
That's funny.
Yeah. So with it being Valentine's Day and stuff, so how do you feel couples can have healthy communication? How can people have overall healthy communication in general?
Don't wait for Valentine's Day to start. I'll tell you that much. Don't wait for Valentine's
That's
Day to
fact.
start. Don't wait for Valentine's Day to be the start of your healthy communication. Don't wait for big events to be the start of healthy communication. And healthy communication actually takes a lot of work. It takes a willingness, it takes you stepping outside of your own emotions and feelings and thoughts, because being clear about what it is you want, how you feel, and all of those kind of things without projecting, without blaming. It's a lot of layers to healthy communication, and a lot of us don't want to do the work. I've started to do the work since I've been in therapy, and healthy communication is hard. So a lot of us choose not to do it. Um
Yes.
so making sure that you're in a relationship where you have healthy communication is even making or creating the space for the other person to feel safe enough to communicate with you in whatever way that looks like. Because it may not always be the right parameters, there may not always be the right circumstances for you to actively communicate. So you have to choose to communicate anyway. You might
That's a
be,
fact.
the person might be mad, you might be mad. And in those spaces, you got to know yourself and your partner enough to know when it's like, okay, let's talk. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Um, let's set aside the opportunity to do this. And one thing that a lot of us do, we try to sit down and have a conversation in the midst of anger. We're not
Ooh,
gonna have a
yeah.
good conversation during that. I'm mad, and I might say some stuff that's gonna hurt your feelings because I'm mad. I might intentionally say some stuff to hurt your feelings because I'm mad. And now we've reached a whole different level in our relationship simply because I said some things because I was mad. Or because I said some things in the midst of us having this heated argument. So I know one thing that I've always done in my relationships is that I've told people up front, I don't like to argue. I don't like to argue. Don't argue. I don't, if we can't sit down and have a conversation like adults, I don't want to have the conversation. I know myself. I go low when I'm angry. So let's let's not let's not do that to each other. Like I'm telling you
Right.
now, let's not do that to each other. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk through it. Let's create this space where we can actively have some really good conversation and choose to be better about how we talk with each other. So that's a one part of it is having restraint and learning when to keep having the conversation or learning when to say, you know what, let's take a break real quick. It's getting a little heated. We're getting beyond ourselves and we're getting way out of the scope of the conversation. Let's take a beat. Let's put a pin in it. Let's go do what we need to do. Let's go walk, go drive, go eat, go to sleep, whatever, and have a conversation about it then. One of the things that I always laugh about is how our parents used to say, you don't go to bed angry.
Yeah, you don't go to bed angry. You don't leave a place angry. Yeah, they always say that. But yeah, people still do that. And one thing I realize is if that person is willing to do that, that person is not for you. That person is clearly not for you. That person is clearly not the one because if they want to go to bed or leave your presence angry and then go days without talking to you, yeah, that person that's just not the one for you.
Disagree because sometimes we encounter people who don't know what healthy communication looks like. So we encounter those people who may have lived in a home where those kind of things were okay. And I say that I laugh at we don't go to bed angry because it does not mean that you aren't still thinking about the situation or that you aren't dwelling on it. It simply means that as you've had this heated argument or conversation, that you come to some understanding that either we're going to finish talking about this tomorrow, we're going to finish the conversation at another time frame, at another day, blah, 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 da, da, da. But I laugh at it because I've gone to bed angry. And it wasn't because of them, it was because of me. It was because I chose to keep trying to have a conversation that needed space, that needed air, that needed a moment for me to process, for them to process, or for us to just circle back around when we took the opportunity to have some moments to think about it. So just because you do go to bed angry, it does not always mean that that person isn't for you. It means that healthy communication didn't take place or that a lot of people don't know what healthy communication looks like in order for you both to not go to bed angry or for you and that person to have a conversation where there will be a resolve. So sometimes we go to bed angry, but it does not necessarily mean that that person doesn't care about you, they're not for you or any of those things. It's just that they may be in the beginning stages of learning what healthy communication looks like, and sometimes that's what it is.
Yeah, I guess sometimes then in that case you might have to have patience with people then, because that's one thing you gotta learn is sometimes you gotta have patience with people in that case because they might not understand what healthy communication is because they probably didn't see that, So maybe it's
Absolutely.
probably time to have patience with people, but you gotta know the people to have patience with because there are some people that are worth to have patience for. Then there are some that are just wasting your time.
And that's where grace comes in as well. Like we have to give the same kind of things to people that we want. We want somebody to be patient with us. We want somebody to give us grace. We want somebody to understand us. So we have to do the same thing to others as well. We have to give people grace, be patient, be understanding, and we got to be willing to listen beyond our own understanding of things, because a lot of times that's what we do too. We stay within the parameters of our own understanding and we never learn anything new because we automatically think somebody is wrong because their thought process or their opinion is different.
Mm-hmm.
We're not always going to agree. We can simply agree to disagree and then move within a different space of how we handle each other and future conversations. But also, let's not condemn people for not knowing or viewing healthy communication, or even not exemplifying what healthy communication is, because again, a lot of us haven't seen healthy relationships, healthy communication. A lot of people fear those kind of things or run away from those kind of things. I know I've been in the space of dating people and they'll tell me I feel too safe. I don't know what the hell that means, but
I felt
being in
that.
the space of safety is something totally different for people. So we got to give people room to learn new things.
Yeah, I felt that, and you know what? And I feel like if a woman feels safety, you probably don't disagree with this as well. Some women they feel safe, they quick to put a man in the friend zone. They're like, "Oh, I feel." I'm like, "Ma'am, I don't get that." It's like I'm trying to be that safe space, and automatically it's friend zone, nothing else.
There's a couple of ways that you can look at that in regards to connection and relationship wise. So some people don't know what safety in relationships look like. Safety to most people means that you're my friend. You're safe. You're my friend because you make me feel safe. But also on the other side of that safety, there also has to be attraction. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm not attracted to you in the way of building a relationship or wanting to build something with somebody, you can absolutely be my friend. We can build a friendship off of that safety, because safety doesn't always mean, or it doesn't always mean relationship, or a lot of times being put in the friend zone means that there's something not clicking there. There's maybe not a physical attraction or a sexual attraction or any of those kind of things. So being put in the friend zone is not always a bad thing, because eventually you can make your way up out of the friend zone at some point. But also, you also have to know the person that you're dealing with in order for you to not take it as a slight. So it's a lot of different ways to look at being put in the friend zone.
Yeah,
But
that's
also, you know, a lot of other things do play a part in that.
Yeah, definitely a lot of things do play a part in that. So, I mean, some cases, yes, it's okay to be put in the friend zone, but then there's some cases you're like, you really thought this person was the one, so it's like impossible to be friends. So every situation deserves evaluation on a case by case basis, because I remember
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because like I said, I personally got rejected by somebody, and that person turned out to be a good friend. So it's happened before, so it's definitely possible.
It's definitely possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Liquor Talk. The more you drink, the better we sound. This is the season finale of Liquor Talk. If you want to collaborate, just go ahead and slide the DMs. Go ahead and send us an email. Go ahead and hit us up wherever you are. If you're in Florida, let's do it in person. If you're virtually, we can do that as well, So, hey. And listen, I'm working on starting some things. And once I get this company started, once I get some things started, I'm going to be booking flights to different places. And I don't mind coming to Indiana when it's warm.
Listen, because you don't want to come out here now. Like I said, as we were talking before we started, it's 19 degrees here today.
Well, okay. So I guess you're just trying to tell me to shut up about this little 36 degrees we got today, and it feels like goddamn 19 outside, especially with the wind howling. And then on top of that, they talking about snow in Florida. I'm like, oh Lord.
I'm not gonna tell you to be quiet about the 30 degrees in Florida because I would be shitty about 30 degrees in Florida too if I'm used to tropical weather all year round.
Hell yeah.
I'm not gonna say that. We're used to the varying temperatures because some days, literally, what was that? November, December, maybe October, November. We went from a 65-degree day to a 40-degree day. Then the next day we had like 32 degrees, rain, sleet. Then it went back up to 50 something. Then it dropped down. So we have, sometimes here in Indiana, we have all 4 seasons in one day. And that may sound crazy, but when we say all 4 seasons in one day, we mean it can go from hot to cold to raining, sleeting, hailing, all kind of things.
That's definitely Florida as well, because there was sometimes I'll leave the house with hoodie on, with the jacket on and stuff. Then about 2-3 o'clock, it's 8 degrees. I'm like, motherfucker.
Listen. Period. And then you like, man, what happened here?
And sometimes it feels like the weather be playing the Powerball. Like, my goodness.
Absolutely. And then it can be humid, and then it'll go to just not being humid. It'll be windy. It's all like, that's why I just looked at my phone right now. Like, let me make sure the temperature is still 19 degrees. But then also we got a severe weather warning.
Man, we got, like I said, down here, we got a freeze warning. And I'm like, motherfucker, we got a freeze warning for today and tomorrow. I'm like, this is how we kicking off February. This is how we kicking off Black History Month. Well, goddamn freeze warning and shit, you know?
Yeah.
And shout out to the people. And also shout out to the people that's going out to the Gasparilla Festival, the Pirate Festival that happens every year in Tampa, you know. My ass wasn't going out there today because it was 50 degrees out there. No, ma'am.
I'm sure that's different for y'all, being that y'all don't have coats on a regular basis and things like that. Y'all don't have to deal with that. But all of the country on this side is dealing with the cold, the sleet, the ice, all of that kind of stuff.
And then I saw the weatherman saying there's a chance. I'm like, oh, hell no. These Florida drives are already crazy. These motherfuckers going to be even crazy if there's some damn ice.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is don't go outside. Don't go outside if it's ice. This is the key factor for people who are not used to winter weather. Y'all listening?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the key factor. Stay y'all ass in the house. That's the factor. Stay in the house. If you are not used to driving in ice or freezing rain or snow or any of that, do yourself and everybody else a service and stay in the house. It's okay to be in the house. You don't have to go nowhere. You do not have to go outside, because you're going to be the person to get on the road. And a lot of the areas that are being affected by the ice and the snow and all of that, they're hilly areas. Like Atlanta is one of those areas. Like, come on, guys. You want to go over a cliff just because you wanted to prove that you could drive outside? And I don't care if you are natives of cities like Chicago or you're a native of Indiana and you like, I could drive in this. No, still stay in the house. Still stay in the house. I lived in North Carolina for a while. And it was one of those moments where it's like, okay, just stay in the house. Just stay in the house. You don't have to go outside. Find you something to do. Cuddle up. Rub your feet together. But stay your ass in the house. It's okay.
Of course. I remember I lived in North Carolina briefly as a kid, and I remember snow days. We definitely stayed in the house, you know. Mom was like, we ain't going outside in this mess, you know. And I got a friend up there in She saw snow and she always complains about how she misses Florida and because of the ice and stuff. I'm like, ma'am, you chose to live in North Carolina. You knew this was the what happened with it. That's what comes with it. So I got love for you, but I don't have much empathy for you, because you chose that. You chose to live in North Carolina.
Listen, I lived when I moved to North Carolina. I moved at in like September, so it was still like the Indian summer kind of vibes and feel going on, and it was still 90 degrees. But the 90 degrees in North Carolina and the 90 degrees in Indiana is totally different. It is dry in North Carolina. There is no humidity, any of that. And it was so hot that you could go outside and you wouldn't even hear birds. So, so I don't know. There's a varying degree when it comes to being in Indiana and being in North Carolina. But when it comes to the winter weather, just stay in the house.
Agreed. You know what? Overall, agreed. Stay your ass in the house if you ain't got nowhere to go. Now, if you gotta go make some money to go do what you gotta do, so shout out to the DoorDash drivers. And if you order DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever, leave their asses a big tip, man. Shit.
Especially in the winter weather, especially in the winter weather and all of that kind of stuff. If you gonna have people delivering to you and all of that kind of stuff, make sure you tip. The winter weather is it's a lot going on outside. It's a lot of factors that are happening in order for people to be able to get your stuff to you. So definitely tip during the winter, and just stay in the house.
Yeah, shout out
And
to
try to get everything that you can before the storm. Don't wait until after the fact and you like, oh, I gotta get to the house, or I gotta get I forget I don't have no groceries. No. Try to do all of that ahead of time. But also, people, stop hoarding toilet
thank
paper and
you.
milk during those time frames. Like,
Bottles of water. Stop hoarding shit. People do that every year for the hurricane, and whenever I see that, I'm like, I could tell you're not a native Floridian because us native Floridians, we getting party supplies and shit. We getting ready to turn up. A lot of y'all motherfuckers, y'all start hoarding shit, and then you realize what the fuck you need it for.
mhm.
Might as well donate that shit now. Over there hoarding stuff.
And the crazier thing is that they hoard milk, water, toilet tissue, but the personal hygiene aisle is still full. So you didn't plan on taking a shower or a bath or any of that during this time frame?
Yeah, I find that kind of odd. Like, how is the personal hygiene stuff all still intact?
Milk, bread, they hoard food, but personal hygiene is one of the things that they choose not to purchase. I'm not understanding.
Yeah, I don't get that either. It's like y'all better take care of all that personal hygiene stuff. It's you gotta go to the bathroom. You gotta take
You
care of
have
yourself.
to.
So it's weird. Shout out to everybody survive the weather, because that's how this year starts off, and we'll get to the spring. Now, lastly, let's get to some things black people need to start doing. I'm gonna start with black businesses.
Oh,
Stop being so
listen.
damn entitled. Stop being so damn entitled. Stop acting like y'all can't take criticisms, because I've heard some black owned businesses, they will get mad at people and start clapping back at people if people say they didn't have a good experience at a certain place. I know.
People don't have a good experience. It was their experience. One thing I'm gonna say this is that we have to stop trying to force our thoughts or our feelings about something onto other people. Um, because I can say I didn't have a good experience, and you can say you did have a good experience. Well, I went on this day and I didn't have a good experience.
Mm-hmm.
What is there to argue about in that regard? Nothing. There is nothing to argue about. We've gotten into the space of being on social media where we always feel like we have to be right, or we always feel like our opinion matters more than the other person's. It doesn't. Listen, hey, oh, okay, well, that's great that you had a great experience when you went. I didn't. So, therefore, this is my opinion. But my point to that is, even though you did not have a good experience, you don't have to broadcast it for the world. You can say, okay, I didn't have a good experience this time. Let me see another time. Because sometimes we not always 100% as a person. Do you think an environment with all of these different factors is always going to be 100%? It's not. They can try their best to be. They can try their and they can do everything that they possibly can in order for the experience to be amazing for you. But it does not always mean that it is going to happen that way. I've had plenty of bad experiences at restaurants locally. And either I can choose to go back and try again or just don't go at all because no. So we
That's
got
correct.
choices. We got choices.
Yes, we definitely have choices. We definitely have choices when it comes to certain experiences and stuff, certain businesses. But hey, we all support you, but black owned businesses, y'all gotta take the criticism and just build from it and get better from it. We gotta get better as a people, we can't take the criticisms and just start clapping back at others because, oh, you just had a bad experience. But I've been to some places, I've been that person, I've given them multiple chances, and you know what? Some restaurants, they act like it's a damn club. I'm like, oh, this ain't necessary. All this exclusive seating, this VIP seating, or all this, oh, because they got a reservation, all this other stuff. Some businesses, they act like they're VIP. And it's bad when a friend of mine comes from out of town and I take him to a place and I'm like, now you making me look bad.
Uh-huh. Well, what I will say to that is a lot of restaurants now are trying to keep up with trends. They're trying to keep up with trends. They're trying to keep up with, what people or what the mass majority of people say that they would like to experience based on social media. And a lot of us, we don't really want that. We really want to go to a restaurant and be able to enjoy the atmosphere. We like good atmosphere. We like good music. We like nice lighting and all of those kind of things. We don't want to see nobody walking around in no little bitty ass shorts bringing us our breakfast with their booty hanging out. Now, men, that may be a totally different thing, but I feel a way if I go to a restaurant and somebody's cheeks is hanging out of their shorts and you bringing me my food.
Well,
I
there's a
don't want your fecal matter floating around on my food. And that's like some people were like, well, you'll eat at a strip club. Lies and deceit, because I've never been to a strip club where I sat and ate. If I went to the strip club, I went to the strip club. Or if I went to the strip club to get food, I went and got my food and left. Because strip clubs be having good wings, just so
Yes, they do. Strip clubs.
y'all
I agree with you there.
don't know what the correlation is between strip clubs and good ass chicken wings, but hey, if I'm gonna go get my wings, I'm gonna go get my wings. If I'm gonna go to see some cakes, I'm gonna go see some cakes. But I ain't been to a strip club in a while, so
I haven't been to a strip club in a while either. Come to think about it, I think the last time I went to a strip club was for the Super Bowl.
I was in my 20s when I went to the strip club last. That's been a long time. And the strip club that I went to in my 20s, it was a really big ass club, warehouse huge.
Wow.
Warehouse huge. So there was the club space on one side and the strip club space on the other side, but you would be able to walk through and kind of see a little bit of both. And shout out to that strip club because it was an amazing time and we had a ball. I left
Yeah.
and looked like I was in there fighting because it was hot and sweaty. And yeah, my hair looked like I was in there stripping.
Wow. That sounds like
But
a
that's
good
that's
ass
the
time
kind of
for
fun
real.
we used to have in our 20s. You know what I'm saying? The early 2000s. We used to be outside, so we used to have a good time.
Yeah, we used to be outside. I feel like the only time I go outside is if I'm traveling somewhere or if I'm going to a new city. So, what's something you think Black people need to stop doing during period overall? Because this is Black History Month.
Um, I would just say stop thinking that we're all a monolith. We tell other people to not put us in a box, but we do it to each other a lot. We put each other in a box a lot. My experiences aren't yours. Where I grew up may be something totally different than where you grew up. And then also stop being mean to each other. We got to give each other room, give each other grace, give each other a little space. Like we're all navigating some heavy shit across the country in a lot of different ways. So give each other some grace. But also, this is number one. Bless you. Number
Thank you.
one is let's stop getting online and having these divisive conversations. Um, we get online and have these conversations that continuously try to divide black men and black women. Or
Hello.
black women don't like black men don't like black women. That's a lie. And it's a lie because the marital stats say different.
That's a fact.
Black men don't want to be married to black women. That's a lie. If
That's a damn
you
sure lie.
have a negative opinion about your experiences with black men or black women, or whatever the case may be, keep those experiences. You can talk about your experience, but don't make that experience the whole experience for everybody. And don't make that one person the example or the bar for all black men or black women. I've dealt with black men. I love black men to the core of my being. I don't want nobody else in this world. But because I've had a bad experience with one black man, don't mean the next black man is going to be the same way. And I think we need to get into a space of not making that the thing. Just because you experience one, don't mean all. No, because you haven't dated all black men. You haven't experienced all black men. Or you haven't dated all black women or experienced all black women. But also, the other thing, if you choose to date outside of your race, make it because you want to or you are actively choosing to date people outside of your race. Stop making it about black women being angry and all of those other kind of things. Like, because that doesn't mean that you really like the other race. That
That's a
just means
fact.
you aren't dealing with the things that you have to deal with internally, or you keep attracting the same kind of person. So therefore, you think this is the consistency across the race. It's not. So we got a lot of work to do within our own community, but also stop getting online and telling all our goddamn business. And stop
Thank you.
inviting everybody to the damn cookout. No, the cookout is closed. Can't nobody else come. I don't give a damn how well they show up for us or how they try to protect us or how much of an ally they are for us. The cookout is closed. Okay? Let it be closed. Leave it closed. Because this is why our culture is starting to be so damn divided, and it is everything that we do or everything that we create is being recreated by other people because we get online talking and telling our secrets. This is also why I feel like we need our own language, or we should have our own language, because it would definitely keep a lot of our secrets from being spread into other communities. So there's that too.
I definitely agree. We definitely got to close up the cookout because not everybody needs to know the flavor of the Kool Aid. Not everybody needs to know everything. And also, you know what? And listen, I love my sisters as well, but guess what? It's like we've had some bad experiences, but you can't let your bad experiences stop you from loving the other race. Because stop you from loving sisters. Because hey, one just because one's don't punish everybody for one stupid idiot. And a lot of y'all, I see a lot of people and if you are in an interracial relationship, don't speak on black businesses. Don't speak on black things because how can you validate your things as black things when you got somebody else in your house that don't look like you? That their grandma, their grandpa probably racist, probably thinking about lynching your ass, even though they 90 something years old, you know, so I totally agree with everything you said.
Hey, love who you gonna love, but don't make who you love or the experience of who you're choosing to love be because of a negative experience with black men or women. Love who you're gonna love, be with who you're gonna be with, but stop dragging us into that factor. I see so many times online, oh, I don't date black women because black women are loud, black women are ghetto. Mm, or the other side of it, black men don't do this and black men
Uh
don't do that.
huh.
How about you say the black men that I've dated or experienced don't or
Yeah.
haven't done those things, or black women the black women that I've encountered or dated have been loud and ghetto. All of us aren't loud and ghetto. I am a loud black woman. And that's because I just got a loud voice and I like being loud because I have a good time, you know. And a lot of times when I'm loud, that's because I'm having a good time. But on the other end of the spectrum, it's because, you know, I just want to be heard.
I feel that. I totally feel that, and I definitely feel that.
And
And
and stop making everything that the world says about us negative. There's nothing wrong with being loud. There's nothing wrong with taking up space. There's nothing wrong with being proud of who you are, your heritage, or any of that. Like, stop making what the world says about us or the negative things that the world says about us a thing that's negative to us. Just because your hair looks a certain way don't mean it's bad. That's just because other people don't understand it, and it's okay. And that don't even just have to apply to race. That can apply across the board. Just because it's a negative experience for the world does not mean it has to be your experience too.
hmm
Because your experience may be totally different, and it may be the thing that sets the new trend. Your experience may be like, oh, I never experienced that. Just like being a plus size woman. It's some plus size girlies that get out here and say, well, I've never had a man to care about me. I've never had a man to do this and the third or whatever. Well, that's never been my experience. I've never not dealt with a man who didn't care for me, but it also has a lot to do with what you're willing to accept, what you put out here in the world, and all of those kind of things. So that's never been my experience. I've dated plenty in my 41 years of life. I've dated plenty. I've enjoyed plenty. I don't have all of these negative experiences, but also we have to be mindful of the energy that we put out into the world. Sometimes the things that you put out into the world is going to be what's coming back to you. So,
that's a fact. That's definitely a fact. You can't let the negative experiences win. And I've had to learn that the hard way. I've had to learn that hey, I can't let one bad experience because they're gonna keep coming if you keep dwelling on. You just gotta
yeah,
give
we
yourself
talked
24
about
hours, take a shot of liquor, and keep it moving. Because you know what,
it.
and not punish the next person for what the last person did. That's another thing we really gotta stop doing. Stop punishing this person for what the last person did.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Leo, I want to thank you for blessing the Liquor Talk with your presence. Thank you for joining me on the season finale. It will
Thank
not
you for
be for
having me.
no problem. I know it's been some years since we had each other on. It won't. I hope it won't be a long time. So if you do any virtual episodes, you let me know. I will be there for you. You just let me know when.
Absolutely. We're going to get you on this season. We come back in February, so
Yeah, that's real. Hey, I'm looking forward to it. Hey, give everybody a call to action.
listen, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are a couple of dozen people away from reaching our 1K subscribers. So check out our YouTube channel. Follow us on all social media platforms. You can find us at the Phat Girl Chronicles, PGC Media, or PGC After Dark. All of those. You can find us on social media on TikTok at PGC Media. Or you can connect with me directly at I am Leo Rochelle on all social media platforms.
Yes, Leo. I want to thank you for joining me. Y'all follow the podcast everywhere on Liquor Talk Podcasts everywhere. And listen to everybody out there. Just continue to be you. Continue to be great. And black folks, let's protect our nest. Let's protect the cookout. Protect the black culture because hey, we only get one black culture. Protect it with everything we got. Stop letting invaders in. That's my call to action for this season, this episode. Thank you all for tuning in for season 9 of Liquor Talk. Shout out to all my guests, whether you were in person or virtually. Also, shout out to my friends at Podmatch for providing guests as well. Shout out to Afros and Audios because guess what? Afros and Audios started this one and it's closing because, hey, the people I had on, shout out to those people as well because they were on. The people I did my segment with, they were on the season premiere. Um,
Okay.
so now I'm having you close. So guess what? That common denominator is we all saw each other at Afros and Audio. So hey, shout
Absolutely.
out to him. So season 10 of Liquor Talk coming later this year. The road to 400 episodes. That's what we're pushing for. So
Hey,
thank you,
congratulations.
thank you, thank you. So we're gonna be on the road to 400. Hopefully, we'll get you back on again, Leo. Until the next episode, until the next time, thank you all for tuning in. Stay tuned for the music rounds because in between, I'm going to be releasing music rounds exclusively on YouTube. So if you're a music artist out there, if you want to perform, holla at your boy. Until the next episode, keep pouring it up and keep things moving because this is Liquor Talk. Until the next episode, peace.